This is Kevin Held. He's holding a piece of a quilt honoring lives lost on 9/11. He wouldn't agree to talk to AP on camera, but he did allow a picture of the quilt sections. The American Quilt Memorial Project is a very successful charity, raising money from elementary school penny drives, T-shirt sales, and contributions, over $700,000. Projected to cover 25 football fields, the charity never created a finished quilt. After 8 years, there are a few hundred decorated sheets inside an Arizona storage unit. And Kevin Held lives in WESLACO, Texas, on the U.S.-Mexican border. An AP investigation shows that much of the $700,000 disappeared from the charity as salary, travel expenses, and benefits for Kevin Held. Father Jude Duffy of the St. Lawrence Friary in Beacon, New York, befriended Held years ago in Tampa, Florida. To his surprise, Duffy was named chairman of the board of Stage 1 Productions, the charity managing the American Quilt Memorial Project.
Certainly, it seems to be that we were duped entirely by whatever he had in mind. I don't know what that is. But I would call it a scam or a clever scheme.
So clever, in fact, that Held went from being an odd-job handyman to a new full-time job and paid himself $230,000 in salary and benefits over 6 years from the charity. He's charged more than $170,000 in travel and tour expenses in the same 6 years, money he says he spent promoting the quilt. And he took $45,000 to repay money he says his mother loaned the charity. He took much of the $37,000 the charity pays for rent to cover office space costs working at this house in WESLACO, Texas. But the quilt never happened. In August, Held closed down the American Quilt Memorial after questions from the Associated Press. The AP investigation identified 325 charities started after 9/11 that received special tax-exempt status from the Internal Revenue Service, promising to serve victims of the tragedy. 10 years later, more than a third are still operating. One such charity is the America's 9/11 Foundation, run out of this house in Leesburg, Virginia.
The foundation really has one funding source, and that's his ride. There is no paid staff on the foundation. Everybody's a volunteer.
America's 9/11 Foundation spends far more money to stage the ride part of its mission than supporting scholarships and grants. From registration fees and other activities over 8 years, the charity raised over $2 million.
We know we've given away $180,000 to college scholarships. $170,000 roughly in police motorcycles. We give one of those away every year.
And the foundation has given away several $100,000 in grants to local police departments. This year, registration fees for 3,000 participants total $270,000. SJURSETH says the foundation pays for food, fuel for bikers, and hotel rooms for police escort officers at a cost of $170,000. He estimates nearly 2/3 of the fees went to cover the costs of the ride, leaving just over a third for scholarships, Harleys, and police department help. Still, the ride is a solemn procession of remembrance. Americans continue to give to 9/11 related causes, but the focus has shifted from sending cash aid to victims to creating more concrete symbols of remembrance. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.